Awesome. So, in terms of my personal definition of networking, for me, networking is a very corporate word and has a lot of corporate connotations. For me, it implies suits, handshakes, business cards. I like to think of it more as connections. So, when we connect with fellow human beings, with others, be it on Zoom calls, on emails, person, and I think as well, it's not just new connections. For me, networking is around also growing and nurturing the existing connections we have, staying in touch with previous connections, just generally checking in. To me, the topic of thoughtful networking really resonated as I've come to realize I do a lot of networking in my personal and professional time. So my day job is with Content Square. It's an analytics company. Um, I have colleagues globally, not just in Asia, but across the globe that I'm constantly in communication and in touch with. I have a network of partners that we work very closely with. And also there's our clients as well as our prospects. So there's basically four subcategories of different personas, different people that I'll be networking with on a daily basis. I'm also involved part-time as an advisor for a company called New Campus. New Campus are an online business school, basically serving online business courses for personal and professional development to a range of different stakeholders across Asia. I'll try that one again. I also work for a company called New Campus as an advisor, and New Campus is an online business school that serve hyper-growth companies when it comes to improving their soft skills for a variety of different courses, leadership, management essentials, stakeholder management, and plenty more. And again, in my role at New Campus, it's essentially a relationship manager. So I meet very regularly a huge range of different people from all over the world that are based in Asia, from all different types of companies and in different roles. So effectively, I do a lot of networking in my professional life. A few ways that I'm going to share that I've incorporated, I guess, more intent towards networking or making connections, as I call it. I think one of the key pieces of advice that I've incorporated is going in with a clear plan. So identifying in the people or the topics that you want to learn from, the message you want to get across, the outcome that you want, and work out what you, for a start, want to get out of this particular connection. So a good example is I attended a networking dinner last night, in fact, that I was invited along to, and there was a variety of topics that were due to be discussed, but there's two topics in particular that I'm currently working on at the moment. It's C-level messaging and ABM. So I really went with the intent to, look, if I can go there, it's my free personal time in the evening, if I can make some great connections and importantly, come away with 2 or 3 learnings from the areas that I was focused on, that'll be a success. So I think it's important just to go in with a finite list, not to go there and you're going to have 20 different ideas, but just have 1 or 2 clear ideas and get a deeper level of understanding from attending. So again, that was a great learning experience for me. I think as well, I mentioned very much the selfish part of going in with your plan. What do you want to get out of it? But I think it's definitely 2 ways. So working out actually people that you're connecting with, understanding their objectives, doing more research as well. So ahead of a call, ahead of a meeting, or even if you're meeting somebody straight off the bat in a networking event, just asking them more questions to better understand them. Like people like talking about themselves. One of the best ways to build rapport is simply listening and asking questions, which is a really underrated skill because I find that, even in the personal life, people are always eager to share their stories, where they've been on holiday, what they think of this restaurant. But the real great listeners, and it is a skill and an art, is to really probe, ask more follow-up questions, or really better understand that person. I definitely think as well, shifting in language as well is something that's important as well. I think, doing your research is key. So if you're looking at connecting with somebody, it could be you're in sales or you're in marketing, wanting to expand your business, do some research. where do they go to university or school, something about the area that they live in, something about the content they've created in the past or what they've shared on LinkedIn or social, for example. Again, I think really doing your research if you're wanting to build a connection with somebody cold. And one thing I always try to do is ahead of each call, going onto LinkedIn and just find out a bit more about them so that I can mention, oh, okay, you're based in this area. Like, how are things going? Just little minor snippets, show that you care, and it can add a lot of value and build that rapport a lot quicker when you're connecting with people. One thing that I've implemented in my team is an optional hour a week, which we call 5%. So 5% is effectively 5% of our working time a week to concentrate on upskilling. So spending it at the pool, listening to a podcast, in the gym, thinking about a particular strategy, reading a book. It could be the team can basically have the flexibility and the freedom to use that 5% how they want. And that's a potential good idea for you that are listening today, is to allocate just an hour a week, manageable chunk, to look at upskilling. And if you're really wanting to think to be more thoughtful in terms of your networking, or you want people of particular interest you want to reach out to, you can spend that on your own personal development, researching some of the people, some of the areas that you want to focus on. In terms of advice, in terms of incorporating more thoughtfulness in networking, I think I'd just start off by saying, and this is again just in my personal opinion, curiosity is one of the key traits that I look for in my team. It's one of the traits that I really value. It shows that people are proactive in surfacing new ideas, upskilling and wanting to get better. As a professional, as a person, it shows that eagerness to learn. It's a really great trait as a manager to have your team come to be like, okay, I've proactively done the research on this. Here are my thoughts. Here's how I think we can implement it. So again, it really shows leadership and peers that you're keen, you're eager, and you're willing to invest your time in your own personal development. And again, I mentioned earlier around connections, around the importance of checking in on past connections and showing people that you're thinking of them. It's something that I see very rarely, but it really does make a big difference to people. Let's say there's a colleague that you've not spoken to in a couple of years, just dropping them a text, an email, a LinkedIn message, a WhatsApp, just to say, hey, just wanted to check in, see how you're doing. I think it really, really makes a big difference in terms of their perception of you, but also it's a great message to receive as well. So again, when we're thinking about networking, don't just think about constantly looking at new connections, but also think about your existing connections and how you can still check in, still have a conversation with them, even if you've not spoken to them for a while. I think building rapport is something key in networking. I always like a bit of small talk. I know some people don't, say ahead of a meeting, ahead of a Zoom call. But I think part of that is key, right? Just understanding they've been away on holiday, where they've been, how they found it, how the week's going. Just trying to make that small talk. And again, it goes back to doing a bit of research, again, where possible, before calls, just to try and find that human connection. I'm not blessed with a great memory, which is a challenge, especially given the amount of people that I'm meeting on a weekly basis. I definitely think, having notes, and if you're like me, having notes on the conversations that you've had, storing them as well, especially for connections that, are going to be repeat connections, maybe, a partner organization, there's a stakeholder there that you're going to be dealing with a lot, or it's a client you're trying to sell to, or maybe it's one of your marketing existing clients. Again, I think, I'm not saying you need to do this for everybody, absolutely not. But again, for key people that you want to build a deeper connection with, just taking a notes of things that have cropped up in conversations, just so you can bring back. It could be their children's names, it could be a sport they play. Just a few key bullets on conversations that you had will really help you to remember to bring these back, and to delve into other conversations as well. I think, again, doing your research, like I've mentioned, is absolutely key. That's one of the things that I think can really bring a lot more thoughtfulness in terms of if you're reaching out to somebody for advice, doing your research into is why them and what you're looking to get out of it. And that's one thing I definitely encourage everyone to do. People often think, oh, like if I reach out to this person, there's some interest, they're never going to respond. Why would they respond? But honestly, I think you'd be really surprised. Now, I definitely say be prepared with why them, be prepared with the questions, and be clear on your intent. I've done this before when I was taking on a partner marketing role. It's not something that I'd done before. And I just reached out to my network and not people that I'd ever spoken to before, just to say, hey, this is the reason I'm reaching out. I'd love to find out more about what you do. And then give some extra context as well in terms of why them and why you're reaching out. Yeah, in summary, I think thoughtfulness is absolutely key in networking. And again, build your own way of networking. For me, it's all around connections. Connections are absolutely key. Key to everything that we do in our success is built around the connections we develop and make with other human beings and other people. I hope that was helpful and useful. Do let me know.